Hi folks, my name is David Alston. Thank you for attending today's webinar for Babe Ruth League and Sports Illustrated Play. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here as we look like we're filling in here for a nice session of attendees. Thank you very much for joining again. And what we're going to start discussing today is what are the benefits of using online registration with Sports Illustrated Play and how that's going to be beneficial to your Babe Ruth League or leagues if you run multiple. So just a little backstory here. In year 2 of the partnership, we've been extremely innovative over the past year, and we've added some new features into the system, which we're really excited about in terms of the growth of the partnership with Babe Ruth and providing value and a great experience to your leagues as Babe Ruth directors. So some of the things that we're going to cover today, and they're all really tied to the online registration experience. We're going to cover the integrated background checks that we offer for your volunteers and how that is tied directly to volunteer, coach, manager registration. We're going to talk about a new feature, our Sports Illustrated Play mobile app, and the value, again, experience that's going to bring to your coaches, parents, ultimately your families that are involved in your leagues that really are the main focal point, being the player. We'll talk about the communication features that we're giving you both on the administrative side of the system along with the Sports Illustrated Play mobile app and the team websites. We will talk about tournament management in terms of what we can do in the Sports Illustrated Play system, along with a software called Tourney Machine, which Babe Ruth League just actually used for their World Series. We're going to hit on our new web creator tool, which are brand new websites, which really showcase your league, a great landing point, through the internet, which everyone lives on, along with their mobile devices for your leagues. Also completely integrated to the league management tools that we're going to offer you on the back end of the system as administrators. And lastly, we'll talk a little bit about how we get your system set up, a transition on to SI Play, and then how we fully support your leagues moving forward with online registration. So when we talk about the registration and that league that league management, this is really the bread and butter for simplifying the tasks that you guys have as administrators on a day-to-day basis. So we talk about customized registration and the things that you can do to make sure you're collecting the data that you need for your players that are coming in and registering. We can set that up so you collect specific custom questions regarding player size, jersey size, pant size, specific rules that could apply to your Babe Ruth League, collecting birth certificates, uploading a player ID image, and then the discounts and fees that go into your pricing model as a league. Do you want to offer an early bird registration? Do you want to charge a late fee registration? Do you discount multiple child registering within the same family? We have the logic within that customized registration to read that and ultimately control all of that during the registration process for you. The idea of 24/7 online registration, which is something that really a lot of you don't have, being that you don't use online registration right now, is a huge advantage. Although you can still keep your in-person registration days going, there really wouldn't be too much of a need to do that anymore. You're not going to have set days during business hours for people to have to come in, fill out a form, and then manage those forms between spreadsheets and getting eventually those rosters uploaded. It's 24/7 online registration. You choose when the registration is going to open, when it's going to close, and it's available at 5 o'clock in the morning or midnight. And it's really going to not deter anyone from being able to get to a specific date and time to register because they can do it directly online. With the registration comes the collection of credit card payments. We use our in-house merchant provider called Easy Merchant. This allows us to collect credit card payments right through the system. If you're an organization that has a higher fee and needs to offer payment plans to your registrants, we can certainly do that, and we can automate those payment plans too, so that way user does not have to log in to make that payment. It will be automated on the installment dates that you set. They can certainly log in at any point and make a payment, or they can pay in full from the beginning, but it's a great way to not have to chase money via check or via cash throughout the season. After your registration completes, we're going to give you, or during the registration process, we're going to give you those registration data reporting tools along with the financial reporting tools, and I'm going to show you a little bit more of those in the system as we go on today. Lastly, and certainly probably the most important thing on this slide that you're looking at right now is after you take your registrations and you've actually created your teams within the system, it's a simple click submission to get those rosters electronically directly to Babe Ruth League. So no more, filling out these extensive spreadsheets, very time-sensitive tasks that they do take a while to complete. And kind of are a burden on administrators like yourselves. At this point, it's team creation in the system, very easy to move players onto their respective teams, and then with a few clicks, you're submitting those rosters directly to Babe Ruth for approval. We talked a little bit about the Web Creator tool and how this is a brand new tool in the Sports Illustrated Play system. What you're seeing here is a Babe Ruth League down in Florida that is now utilizing this tool. And really we look at it as a way to showcase your league and draw great attention to exactly what you guys are promoting within your league, and that's the great experience for families, the great experience for players within the league. And we believe this website can really showcase your league and take it to another level. In terms of the actual customization of the website, we have custom design that's available. We have a full team built out to work on that custom design. That's not something that you have to opt into, but the option is available if you'd like a specific design, much like you're seeing on the website right now. In terms of managing content on the site, which I'm going to show you a little bit more in a second, but very easy to actually drag and drop these items across the website, move them to different locations where they're going to format correctly and size correctly, depending on where you want to move them. Very easy to edit news articles that are uploaded on the website and share those amongst your league. You can upload documents much like you might do on one of your website right now, so there's still some downloadable forms if you still want to offer that via downloads on the website. The website is completely integrated, as I said, with the back end of the system and those league management tools. Therefore, on the back end of the system, for example, as you start scheduling games and you go in and score those games, you stat those games, they're then going to update in your standings page on the website. They're going to update in your stats, and they're going to update in your results, and that's going to go directly to the public for review, so they can keep up on the games and scheduled games going on within your league. Moving on, and really to branch off of the league sites are the Sports Illustrated Play team websites. Now this is data that flows also down directly into the Sports Illustrated Play app, and this is going to be the bread and butter for the coaches and volunteers in your league, along with parents that are logging into their accounts and accessing their son or daughter's team. So this is specific to the actual team, much like you can see in this picture along with the league sites, very customizable from a graphic look. So this league has their own banner, their own background, their own logo up there, and this is the Cardinals team, so it's specific to their team. What you're seeing on this site are coach tools. So from a coach perspective, it's very necessary to be able to communicate easily with your team, whether it's a schedule change, maybe it is a game location change or a time change, or just a simple email about a practice update. You want to email out something regarding a banquet day or a picture day. We're going to give you those tools on the team site as well as the Sports Illustrated Play mobile app. As a parent logs in, they obviously wouldn't see the coach tools. They are seeing more of a view of what is going on within that team. So they can access roster information. They can look at stats amongst the league, the standings of other teams that they play against. They can look at photo albums to see some images that have been uploaded for players in the league. And then they're going to have the team chat ability too, which is really the communication between parents in the league. So if they wanted to chat back and forth about a great game, congratulate some players, or maybe chat about coordinating some carpool rides, they can use that team chat functionality. the key with the schedules here is that as these schedules are created now, if you're someone that schedules at the league level, that's going to drill directly down into the team websites. Now your coaches and volunteers, they can't actually affect anything that's scheduled at the league level. But if you're a big league and administrators just don't have the time to put in all the schedules into the system at the league level, you can certainly put that task off onto your coaches, and they can do that right from their team sites. As these team schedules are built out, you're going to see the automation of game reminders going out, game change notifications. So actually creating these teams, getting them into a schedule is very beneficial for the league management tools after registration, because all of that functionality is automated. So that's very important in terms of game changes, game reminders. So they're going to go out before practices, games, or what we call in the system non-game events. So like your banquet day or your picture day. And they're going to get reminders prior to those games about those upcoming events. So league and tournament scheduling, and I'll just hit on this quickly because I'm going to show you some stuff on the inside of the system in a second, but we can certainly create schedules at the league level. We have a few different options for your leagues. We have an automated scheduling tool, which is excellent. It's going to be based on some criteria, much like you can expect, having teams in the system, having locations available to play for, and then setting the availability at your specific locations or fields that you use. Once that criteria is set, you can run an auto scheduler to generate the games within seconds for you. We also have the option of manually entering practices or games or non-game events if needed. And lastly, we have the option to import a schedule. If you have a preset schedule that's already made, we provide the template for you. You can upload that template right into the system, and once that's uploaded at the league level, it's going to disperse down to your teams specifically. As I stated earlier, you're entering game scores as games have been played. They're automatically going to update onto the integration of the website and your standings and results page if you do stat games. And I'm going to get a little bit more into the stat part of it with IceCore coming up in a few minutes here, but we can certainly track those player stats as well. One more thing on the league management scheduling, for automation behind text and email notifications, something that is very important is weather. So weather is something that can really deter a game, and you can close fields or rain out games or cancel games. When doing that, you're always going to have the option to notify your team, and that's an automatic notification that goes out. You can choose not to send it if you've already communicated it in another way, but that automation is always going to be there when raining out a game or closing a field. So we talked about the transition from the league site down into the team site, and now how that data actually comes right into the Sports Illustrated Play mobile app. So the mobile app is a brand new feature for us and a brand new tool for us. It is free as a league management tool that come along with the packages that we offer, which I'll explain in a few slides. But what you're seeing here on the Sports Illustrated Play mobile app is the high-end functionality that it has in terms of keeping you up to date with what's going on really with your entire family. So starting over all the way to the left, so my cursor is over that one, the Tigers, that is a specific team page within the app. So that is going to be, I have Johnny who plays for the Tigers, and I want to drill specifically into his team. I want to look at that roster. I want to look at his team news feed. I want to maybe look at the schedule and see what upcoming events he has, so I can opt into the player attendance there and let my coach know who will be attending. From the coach perspective, you're going to be able to track that player attendance right on the mobile app, so via yes or no who will be attending that scheduled game. Along with the standings and photos, two things that you can access on the team portion of the app, but you can certainly tag yourself in photos or tag other teammates in photos, much like a Facebook feel. And what's really cool about that is when you look over all the way to the right and see this player card, you can flip those player cards over. So you get a great, real professional view of your son on the app, much like an ESPN feel to it for a pro sport. You flip that player card right over, and he actually has the option to see photos that he's been tagged in with other players. You'll be able to see some information regarding the player, some stats that the player has the player has gained over the course of a season. The two middle screenshots that you're seeing here um, one is the schedule, and then one is drilled into a specific event. So you're going to see all the events that you're tied to for your team. So you see a practice canceled here. You see a game coming up, and you also see another practice coming up on the 2nd. You can then drill into that event, and when you look over to one slide to the right, you're now seeing where that location is. Do you need directions to it? Because you can get it directly in the app. Are you going to be there? Click the attendance button, and that's going to allow you to let your coach know that you're going to be there. One thing below that you just can't quite see is called snacks. So we can coordinate a snack schedule right on the app, so that way you know that the team that's going to be attending a game or practice has water, they have some fruit, they have some snack bars if needed. Very, very important that these tools are provided not only to the parents and the families, but to the coaches as well. So something like attendance correlates directly to the coach who can manage that for his entire team, just to know that he's going to have full attendance for a practice, or maybe he needs to cancel that practice, and same thing for game and other events going on. Moving on to the next slide here. So Tourney Machine. So Tourney Machine is a fairly newly acquired company and software. It is used to manage tournaments that you guys run as a league. The advantage of using Tourney Machine through SI Play, couple things. One, you already have taken registration. Your teams actually live in the Sports Illustrated Play system. So Tourney Machine allows for an easy export out of SI Play and import into Tourney Machine to utilize that software and publish your games. In terms of the actual scheduling, it's quick, easy, drag and drop scheduling if you're someone that likes full customability on your schedule, or you can rely on the Tourney Machine staff and set up these schedules how you run your tournaments. So some people go right into bracketed games, some people go into pool play and then move to brackets after the pool play. It accommodates all of those situations, and I've never come across a scenario in a tournament that the software hasn't been able to handle at this point. Most recently, Babe Ruth used Tourney Machine for the World Series, and in speaking with that staff who actually set it up, they've been raving about the software, and they're really excited about using it for next year's tournament, just because they actually underutilize some of the things that it can really do. It is directly tied to a standalone Tourney Machine app, which, much like the Sports Illustrated app, is going to communicate automatically those game changes, field changes, which actually happen probably more in the tournament life than they do in the normal league life, because everything's on the go and happening so fast over the course of a short weekend. But after that, you're scoring games. You can do that right in the app. You can make changes to the schedule update, and the communication tools are right there for you as well. As you score games, it's going to advance the teams automatically in your bracket, much like the NCAA tournament. Really excited about the software that we're able to provide to you guys here in terms of running tournaments, because it's just going to make life a lot easier for you in setting those up. Eliminate the spreadsheets and really mapping out a tournament and use the software. To kind of go along with that, so we talked a little bit about player stat tracking along with the live scoring. So IceCore is part of the Sports Illustrated Play family. It's integrated directly to the Tourney Machine app. It's also integrated directly to the Sports Illustrated Play mobile app. So somebody is using the IceCore app at a field to score a game. A parent that is possibly not at the game can log into the Sports Illustrated Play mobile app and keep up with the live game, much like an ESPN Gamecast or a Pro Sport Gamecast. Obviously, you're not at all those games, but you can keep up while you're at work or just while you're doing something else in your busy life. For baseball purposes, IceCore tracks over 500 different stats, so you can customize that to capture whatever stats you're looking to capture. And again, the integration directly to Tourney Machine, directly to the Sports Illustrated Play app is really the biggest benefit for the stat tracking and live scoring. Background checks. We obviously know as Sports Illustrated Play, and then for all of the leagues we work with, that player safety is probably the most important thing that you guys deal with, and ensuring that your volunteers have submitted a background check and have passed that background check is crucial to running your organization. So we can eliminate the paper here by offering a fully integrated background check right through the system. It's tied directly to volunteer registration, which volunteer registration is free in the system. So volunteer comes in, they register, they're going to complete their check right online when they go to check out. And really the advantage here is it's a one-stop shop. So they can come in, they can register their son to play baseball, they can register their daughter to play softball, they can register themselves as a coach, their wife as a coach, and then they can complete background checks for both husband and wife all in one spot. In terms of the information, it's a national and criminal sex offender search. It's also a verified search pinging the social security number, and that data is stored away and encrypted in our database. So it's not something that we can even access or is stored. In terms of managing those cases after the background check comes through, I mean 95% of them, if not more, come through as eligible, but you will have the cases that come in that either flag a misdemeanor or a felony possibly that you need to manage. At that point, we give discretion to the organization to make a choice on how they want to handle the case. So during the process, they'll answer self-admit questions, which allow them to get out in front of any type of issue that they might know is going to come up on the background check. For example, 25-year-old gets a DWI and he's now 50-year-old registering to coach. He's going to let you know that during the self-admit process, so that way you know it's coming back on the background check. When that does come back, it's your choice as an organization if you want to handle it on a case-by-case basis on if you're going to admit that person or disqualify them from being able to coach within the organization. The last piece of that for background checks is that we can really make that come full circle because we offer the badges with the paper that you need to print these passes on. So it's pass printing along with the badges, and that's going to make the background check come full circle. So a parent that's coming to watch a son's game, he can see that all the coaches on the fields have their lanyards with their badge and their pass on it. It shows their name, their role in the organization, and the eligibility date of when their background check will expire. We can choose to run those background checks for you on a 1, 2, or 3-year basis. And you also control the registration period on those checks, whether you want it to be continuous throughout the year or you want to set a specific date for registration for the background check. Lastly, I just talk quickly about some of the plans that we offer now. So whether it's the free, the Smart League, or the Premier plan, you get all of the league management tools. So there's really no difference in the league management tools that you get with the plan that you choose. The real difference is really based on the website design and the website domain. So with the free out-of-the-box plan, we don't host a domain there. So you would be using a subdomain that you enter. And we don't do any graphic design on the website. We provide you the template for you then to go manage content on your site. In our Smart League plan, we're going to host a custom domain for you, so we can register one for you if you want a new domain. We can transfer one for you also if you have an existing domain that you'd like to bring over. Along with that domain on the Smart League plan, we will offer you unlimited email addresses to tie to that domain. We also offer a one-time fee up front called our Jumpstart package, which we will give you again, the out-of-the-box template, except with the Smart League, we'll design you a registration banner, a banner for the entire website, a background and theme, and some content migration if you're moving from an existing website. To take it one step further at the Premier package, this is really your custom design, your unique, I want to go top of the line website. Still all of the same league management tools, custom domain, custom emails, and then we will do the end-to-end design as well. So custom themes and template packages, end-to-end design from I want specific player photos in my background. I want a multi-page website, one for baseball, one for softball, and that's on a custom quote basis based on the design work that you'd want to look at. In terms of support, just real quick, and for phone coverage, just a quick update on that. It's 9 a.m. and you might want to jot this down. It's 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday for phone coverage. On the weekends for phone coverage, it's 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in terms of phone coverage. Those are the hours listed on the page right now for email coverage or live chat intercom functionality, which is something that is now implemented in the system for questions to be answered. So 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, you can get coverage. It does end at 7 for the phones, and then 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time on the weekends for coverage, 10 to 3 for the phone coverage. Now what we're going to take a look at is I'm going to bring up an actual live site here, which is Rocky Shore Youth Baseball. So this is a custom designed website that I wanted to show you a little bit about. So when we talk about some of the custom design, this is a custom banner up top. This is a custom registration button. We build a custom theme in the background here. And now some of the things that we've kind of hit on through the webinar so far in terms of, posting news on the website. So linking these news articles, and all of them are linked to their own specific article. This would be a list where you can go through different stories that are going on in your league. Different photos that can be uploaded throughout the process. You're doing this on right on the page, which I'm going to show you in a second. So that's the biggest change for our new website creator tool, is that everything is done right on the page in terms of customization. These are all photo galleries, which you can drill into and see the specific thumbnails. Your divisions and teams, which is going to be something that is obviously set up for you in the system prior. So you'll have all your Babe Ruth divisions set up. Once we have created all of the teams, you'll be able to submit those rosters directly to Babe Ruth, and now those rosters are going to integrate and link directly to the specific team sites that we hit on earlier in the webinar. So I can then come to a team site and I can actually go for a view of the Cubs team and just take a look at what's going on there. You can filter out by your specific season, or if you want to just look at your T-ball division, and if you want to change that to a list view versus a grid view, a lot of customization that you can do on the site here. Schedule, which is going to be probably one of the most important things to you guys. You're seeing a calendar view of a schedule. You can include what you want to show on that in terms of game, practice, and events, and the same filtration is available in terms of what you want to drill into. So maybe you want to look just specifically at one team schedule from the public site, and you can do that. If you want to look at all your divisions, you can go back and see specific games. I can drill into a specific day and get specific information on that game. You'll see some upcoming events over here on the left. There's always an ability to add more quick links over here on the left side that you're seeing right now. And if I go back to the home page, one new thing that you're going to see here that I'm going to show you is the social media integration. So over here on the right side of the screen, you'll see links to Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, and your email client. But you also see these embedded Twitter links, Twitter and Facebook links right in the system. So now I can get a direct feed to my Facebook right on the website, and I can get a direct feed right into my Twitter handle from the website. If that's an area where you might not like the way this looks on the site, well, now let me show you how you can actually log into the website. And I'm going to edit the page. And now I can do this editing directly on the page that I'm using. So if I didn't like where this registration banner is because maybe it's just not getting a lot of attention or people aren't noticing it, I can simply move that and drop it to a different spot on the screen. Very easy to manage. If I want to move it back, I can move it back right in that section. If I want to go into a specific news article, I can drill right into the settings for that specific news article and start changing some of the content that is posted in there. Again, same thing with the headlines over here to the left. Easy drag and drop modules to move amongst pages. If I wanted to do things with experience, I can look at my site admin and my site settings, and I can actually control things like the name of my site, the time zone, the search engine optimization and the keywords that I'm going to be using, or the Google code for tracking purposes and the traffic that you're attracting to the website. My site appearance, so maybe I want to make my own change to a banner or upload something that somebody designed for me custom offline, and I can upload that now into the session. So the idea here is that the new tool, not only is it going to showcase your website, but it's going to be easy for yourself and as an administrator or your webmaster to actually manage the website itself. What I'm going to bring back up now is a little bit more on the back end of the system, and these are some tools that I wanted to show you guys because they're going to be beneficial to how you actually manage your league. So this is the administrative dashboard that you're seeing on the back end of the Sports Illustrated Play system. This is where yourself as admins who move to online registration are going to live. So you're going to be able to look at the active registration seasons that you have going and get a tally of what kind of numbers you have in terms of players and volunteers. You're going to be able to do your reporting here, your financial reporting. This is where you set up your new programs and seasons for registration, or maybe copy them over from a previous year. This is where you're going to manage your background checks. So given the fact that you see this search bar, you'd be under the understanding here that this is a database for all of the accounts that live in your system, which is really what the system is based on, a family account that comes in, they add their children to the account, that lives in the system unless the account is deleted by an administrator. So season over season, it becomes very easy for your parents because they don't need to recreate accounts. They simply log into the system and they choose their child that they want to register for the new upcoming season. From a user standpoint, it takes less than 5 minutes to register your kid and make that payment online. And from an administrative standpoint, not only is it going to simplify the process of eliminating the paper form, eliminating the roster creation on paper, and then uploading those rosters via CSV file, those tools are now going to live on the back end of the system under your teams. So under teams, and I go to manage teams, you can see that I have added all of these teams into the system simply by adding a new team here. I can add a new team and make sure it's affiliated with the correct division, excuse me. All your players are going to come into this, what's called this unassigned pool. From this unassigned pool, I can simply edit roster, which you see the button here, and start assigning those players and volunteers to my specific team. One thing that you're seeing on the team website status here is inactive versus active in Coach Preview, and this is directly tied to the team site in the app. So as you assign all your players to your teams, once everyone's assigned in terms of players and volunteers, you'd want to activate your teams. When you activate your teams, they're all going to receive an automated email with a direct link to log into their team sites, and really a congratulation email saying, hey, you've been assigned to the Cardinals, congratulations, here's how you access your team site. That is going to make these team sites live, and it's also going to allow the parent or coach to log into the Sports Illustrated Play app to populate those teams in the app as a new user on the app. After you have completed all of these team creation tasks, you're then going to be able to submit rosters directly through the system. Now, you guys would actually see a new button over here under the teams called Submit Rosters. It's going to allow you then to send those rosters directly to Babe Ruth, and you would actually see a new column here, which I can actually show you. Okay, I'm going to bring that up in just one second. Some other things that I wanted to talk to you about outside of the submission of rosters is some things that you can do in terms of reporting. So like I said, we can customize the registration so that way you're collecting all the data that you need, and then from that point and when registration ends, you can run a specific registration detail report so you can take a look at that information that you collected. Now I'm going to run this for players only, and I'm going to say that I want to run a report on the jersey size that I collected during the registration process. So it's going to give me this default view, but I'm going to edit my report and I'm going to add the specific things that I need to collect. So you're taking all of these custom fields from available columns and you're moving them over to the selected columns because that's what you want to report on. So I'm going to report on jersey image. I'm going to report on pant size, and then payment status because I want to see what the status of payment has been so far. I'm going to name the report, and this is beneficial because you only have to create these reports once. As registrations come in, they will automatically update on these reports, and then you can use them for future use as well. Because on that previous page, you're choosing what season you want to look at. You can filter down to specific division or a specific team as well. When I click Save this report, it's now going to populate some things that I wanted to report on. So the good thing about a registration detail report is if anytime you see a pencil sign, I can bulk edit these now. So if I needed to, come in this session, which obviously has a lot of registrants, and I didn't want to go into each of an individual account to update a size, I can then do this in bulk by just changing a few sizes and saving my changes. The payment status is very beneficial because you can see who's completed payments and who's past due. What's beneficial about the past due payment status is that's also going to show up on your receivables page. So along with the reporting from a registration data standpoint, we also do that on a financial reporting standpoint. So you can come in here and there's a bunch of different reports that you can run on your financials. We'll take a look at the receivables right now, which is going to allow you to look at past due amounts. So you might be an organization that's interested in moving online for registration. However, you still want to collect check payments or some one-off cash situations. They can do that right through the system. They choose pay by check when they get to the checkout screen. They're going to be prompted with a notification that tells them where to send the check, who to make it payable to, for what amount, and to reference what order number. When you receive the check, now you can come in here, you can click that past due amount. You can reference check number 467 for the amount, the full amount of $215, and click Save. This is no longer a past due account. So when the Kamashak account actually logs into their account now, they won't see that they owe any additional money because that's been reconciled on your end. It's also going to be reconciled in any order summary report that you run when you're looking at the financials that you've collected, for your entire program, or maybe you want to break that down a little bit farther in terms of what you've done, just in spring baseball, or maybe what kind of money your T-ball division is bringing in. We can break that down. It's going to break it out by different things that you've set up during registration, whether it's donations or scholarships or boundary compliance rules. We set that up and report on it right in the system for you. We provide the statements for you guys right through the system as well. It's something that, obviously will be a big point for you guys to be able to look at. They're emailed directly to the billing contact in the system, along with electronic copies that live directly in the system. And we handle those statements 4 times a month. So you would receive a net deposit in your account 4 times a month, and that's going to be, less our registration fees and processing fees, and that's all available for you to look at directly into the system. We talked a little bit about some communication tools, and we talked more about them for the coach and the volunteers communicating with their team, but they're also right here for you guys as administrators in the system. So a couple things that you can do, and I'm going to hit on 3 different ways to communicate right now. So number 1 is you can communicate to an active season. So I want to communicate to my spring baseball season, but I can filter down. Maybe I only want to communicate to a specific division, or maybe I only want to communicate to a specific team. I can choose those teams. I can eliminate teams I don't want to communicate to, and then the roles that I want to communicate to as well. So maybe it's only the parents that I want to communicate to, and I can choose email or text, and I can select that message. When I select that message, I'm filling in the content that I want to send out. You can do some HTML in here if you want to do that, and you can also do a message summary, which is going to send that back to you, letting you know who it was sent to and what the content was. To go back to the email and text, so unlimited email and text is part of the plans that you would be offered. Just a side note for you guys, we do need parents to opt into receiving text, and it's a simple task during the registration process. When they actually check out and log into their account for the first time, they can enable that communication tool by sending a quick code to a number, and that enables their phone in so they can receive text from administrators or coaches through our communication tools. Very beneficial for this day and age with everyone being on their phones, along with the push notifications directly in the Sports Illustrated Play mobile app. Another way to communicate in the system that would be beneficial to you guys as administrators is actually using registration detail. With this show inactive sessions button, I can click that button and it's actually going to populate past sessions. So maybe it's 2017 now and I want to go back and communicate with last year's softball season and let them know that registration opens in 2 weeks. I can view that report, and there's no one in that report, so I'm just going to view this one. And I'm going to clear this out. I can select all, and you'll see it'll put 63 up there. So now all of these past registrants from last year, I can now send an email or a text to communicate about the upcoming registration period that's about to open. That's number 2. Number 3, under registrations and reports, I can run a non-returning registrants report. And what this would be is, you're 2 weeks out away from closing registration, your numbers are a little down. Well, you can run this report and say, okay, well, last year, we had 1,000 people. There's only 750 in here right now. Let's see who registered last year that hasn't completed a registration this year, because it could be that they've moved or they're just not playing this year, but you can certainly run this report by choosing the prior session and then the current session. And when you run that report, it's going to bring you up a list of players, and then you can also do the same thing. You would select all, and you can send that email or text right from here to all the people that registered last year but have not registered this year again, so you can try to get those numbers in before registration closes. Just to show you a little bit in terms of the managing schedules page, all your schedules are managed right here. Any schedule that you manage is always going to come up as unpublished first, which gives you as an admin in the league the opportunity to review the schedule, make any changes that are needed. Once you click publish the schedule, it is going to, so you see the publish button right here on some of these unpublished schedules. It's going to publish out directly to the league website. When it's published out to the league website, it will then filter down into the team sites in the app as soon as those teams are made active, like we spoke about on the teams pages. So once we get back to the teams page, we make those teams active. Now the schedule is going to filter down, so it's team-specific events that your coaches and families can access. In terms of scoring and statting games, you're doing that right in the system as well. You can only score a game that has been in the past, and that's going to integrate directly to your results page. You can edit a score if needed, and then you can add stats to that specific game as well. So you can add more fields in here for the custom stats that you're trying to collect, and then we would update these kind of stats for Mike Mangold in here, whether it's batting, fielding, or pitching, and these stats are also going to update and integrate to the stats page on the league website, along with those specific team stats on the team pages in the app. In terms of your locations, so you manage all your locations under the schedule and games tab as well. You can add all of those locations in. Once you add your parks that you play at, you can add multiple fields. If you have 3 fields at one park, field 1, 2, and 3. And then you're going to manage the availability at those parks like we spoke of. So you can come into your spring baseball, go into your East field at your Bruno Park and manage the availability there. If you need to black out games, specific dates for a holiday weekend, you can add a blackout so it's not included in the schedule automation. And you can also do that at the team level as well. Now, case example, you have an upcoming tournament maybe on a weekend, and you're expecting a lot of rain. That Friday night it starts pouring. It's going to be a washout that weekend, and you need to go in and you need to close a resource. So now you can come in here, you can choose the resource that you're going to close, when it's going to be closed from, add some notes on it. That's going to automate communication out to all those involved, whether they had games on that date, practices on that date, they had some type of event at that field. They're going to get that automation directly via email and text if they've opted into text. If not, they would get it via email. But also if they have the push notifications enabled on the app, which I highly recommend for your user base, they will get a notification about that field closure as well. If there was a case where you needed to close everything, we give that option as well, and you can close all resources at once. We do allow for some reporting in our scheduling tool. So you can run a report on resource availability to make sure that you have the right availability set amongst your fields. Or maybe there's some conflicts that are coming up and you want to run a report on that, as well as coaches in your program that may coach 2 or 3 different teams, and you want to make sure that they're not being scheduled at the same times in 2 different locations. You can run that coach conflict report, and that's going to give you great access into making sure that your schedules are set up correctly. A few more things on the back end of the system. So we do have a store that you can manage products in that is directly integrated to registration. So we have 2 different options for selling gear now. One is through our team or our league stores, where you can manage products. You can add any type of products that you want, from clothing, accessories, to maybe doing some sponsorship stuff, to maybe doing collecting donations. That is all tied directly to the registration process. And what I mean by that is, now we talked about the one-stop shop. So a parent can come in, they can register their son, they can register their daughter, they can register themselves to coach, take their background check, and now go purchase a hat and a sweatshirt right in the store. And it's one shopping cart, one transaction, and they're done. In terms of this store, this would be something that's managed and fulfilled in terms of product fulfillment by the administrator. And you can run reports directly on that in your product fulfillment report in your store setup, and that's all exportable data. The other option that we have is a newly acquired partnership, if you may, with a company called Squad Locker. And what this does is it allows you guys to sell some gear directly through Squad Locker itself. And what they do is they offer different products of name brands that you guys can open up a store with. When you open up that store, you choose the products that you want to sell. You can choose to fundraise, and by fundraise I mean you can mark up the pricing of what Squad Locker is selling out of their store from anywhere from 5 to 20% right now, and we will cut you a check for the fundraising amount that you make on the gear sold. The best part about this, guys, is that it takes 5 minutes to set up and select the items that you want to sell in the store, and then Squad Locker actually fulfills the order and sends them directly to your family's homes. So in terms of the other store that you need to manage and you need to fulfill those products and completely set it up, we take that task off your hands now with Squad Locker. Really the work would just be, 1, setting up the store initially from the beginning, which takes 5 minutes, and 2, promoting the store amongst your user base. The more you promote the store and get people in it, the more sales you're going to have and the more opportunity to fundraise for your program. The last thing I wanted to bring up here is a little bit more on the Sports Illustrated Play app, which is something that I really believe is going to be very valuable to yourself, to give this product to your coaches and your families. I'm going to bring this up. So a little bit about the app overview, and I just want to take you through some screenshots and some different things that you'll see as you really start the process with the app, so you're aware of what it looks like. Once you have an account in the system, that same account, email address, and password is going to be what logs you into the app. Once you've logged in, it's going to pull your information and the teams you're affiliated with or the players that you're affiliated with, and that's going to show you it's going to show you your favorite teams along with your favorite players and give you the option to select which ones you want to populate in the app. After you do that, you're going to opt into notifications unless you don't want them. Obviously, like I said earlier, I highly recommend them, much like a Facebook or any other social media. It's going to be the same type notification that you get immediately on your phone, like a text message even. That way you're up to date on any changes, communications that come through the actual app itself. We talked a little bit about some of this. So the main feed from the app, which is really cool, has a direct feel of Facebook to it. So if you have multiple teams and you have multiple players within the app, it's actually going to be an overview of your entire sports ecosystem and your sports life. So it's not just team specific from the feed. That's going to actually give you everything. Same thing with the schedule. It's going to show what your Saturday looks like for your entire family versus your daughter that specifically plays softball. You get to see all news that is actually generated through the app that is shared by the league, and again, all those schedules that are shared through the league as well. To take it one step further, I can then drill specifically into teams. When I go specifically into teams, and we talked a little bit about this already, the things with the schedule in terms of directions in Google Maps, player attendance, your snack schedule, all that functionality is there in the app. You can go live into games using, as long as someone is actually running the IceCore app and scoring that game, you'll be able to keep up live with a specific game if wanted. You can post comments directly in the live feed of the game when you're at work but you're watching the game on the app and Johnny hits a home run. You can post congratulatory comment right in the app. These are the player photos that we were talking about here. So one thing that is really cool about the app is that when a coach goes and looks at their roster, a newly added feature that we just brought into the app is those that are actually lit up, which this page you can't really see it that well, but you'll be able to see the difference between a lit up player shot and one that is dimmed out. Those that are dimmed out are actually people that have not downloaded the app yet. You can select those specific people and it'll send an automatic invite to their account email telling them to download the app because you want to utilize that for your team, and now everybody's on the same page and utilizing the same tool. All of these player cards flip over, like I said earlier, for more information regarding the player, photos that they've been tagged in, stats, how many home runs they have, RBIs, how many hits they have, wins, losses, the teams that they're involved with. Here's a closer shot of a player shot for David Abramitis, and then I can flip over and see some things that are on the back, excuse me, on the back of the player card itself. This is an example of the Scorecast, which is directly integrated through IceCore. So you see the live scoring happening in the app. It's a play-by-play. You see ball strikes as they come in, and then you can look at the box score too to get the most. If you pop on in the middle of the game and you want to see, okay, it's the third inning, my son's 1 for 3 right now. All of that information is directly correlated through the IceCore app into the Sports Illustrated Play mobile app. Excuse me. The team chat function is something that not only is on the team sites, but it's also on the app, and it's a forum for your parents to communicate back and forth. The email text tools for the coaches are going to be right on the app as well, so they can communicate to an entire team, to a single player, to maybe only 3 or 4 players on the team, but they can click that send message button and it's going to allow them to communicate directly to the team. Currently, this is available on in the iPhone store along with the Android store. It's a free app to download. So your Android users out there in the Google store, and then your iPhone users in the Apple store, you can go download this app. I mean, you would be doing it once the league is completely set up online and taking registration and those teams are created. Once the accounts and teams are created, they'll be able to utilize the app going forward. Okay, so we're about an hour in right now, and that is just about all I have for you guys today on the webinar. A couple things that I did want to note to you guys, as I stated at the beginning. Number one, we will have an FAQ sheet going out to all those that have registered. So any questions that were not answered in the chat feature today, you will get a full list of those questions and the answers to all of those questions on our FAQ document, whether you are an attendee today or you're somebody that registered but wasn't able to attend. You will also get a live recording of this of the webinar and a link to download that. That way, if you want to pass it on to other league administrators or other people within your community so they can view the webinar and hear a little bit more about what Sports Illustrated Play has to offer in terms of tools, that'll be sent to you as well. Another piece of information that you guys may want to pass along or jot down: on Tuesday, September 27th, we'll be running another Babe Ruth and Sports Illustrated Play webinar. It will be at 8 p.m. Eastern time instead of the midday time, as we want to be able to give people the opportunity that could not make today due to work, be able to attend a webinar. So if you'd like to attend again, feel free. The registration link will be sent out this week, so you can start registering or passing that link along. Other than that, I thank you guys very much for joining today. Any follow-up questions, please send along. Again, my name is David Alston. I'm a sales manager here with Sports Illustrated Play, and I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding the webinar today and the tools that we have to offer and what the next steps really look like moving forward. I'm going to bring up a slide with my contact information right now. So there's contact information for myself on here, along with my manager, Craig Pica. And what you're going to want to do is probably jot this down, and if you have questions, please reach out to us. Now, we might be getting you in touch with the correct person based on our internal territories and how we have them set up. But please feel free to call us, email us. Let's set up a call and hear more about your leagues and what the transition looks to moving online and the steps that it takes to implement that. Being September 20th, spring registration is approaching for the fall and the winter. And you open that up for eventually for your spring season. So we know we want to get the ball rolling there. The actual transition is very easy. We set up your systems for free. We can talk through what the pricing would look like for your organization on those calls, and really anything that we can do to help to make the transition as simple as possible for you guys. Again, thank you very much for joining, and I look forward to hearing from you guys in the near future. Thanks. Bye.